Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. So today we're gonna start something new, and since a few days ago the new ZBrush 4R8 was released, I thought it would be cool to do a video to showcase some of the new tool and functionalities, but I don't want to do just a simple here's this feature kind of video. Instead, I thought, why don't we just make something, and we're going to use some of the new functionality to help us in the modeling of this new character. So I thought, well, let's make something cool. So let's make a zombie. So to make a zombie, just to save us a little bit of time as a starting point, instead of starting from scratch, we are going to use a scanned head. And if we go to 1024, this is a 3D scan store when you can purchase a lot of very high quality model. And so I thought we can use one of these head here and turn it into a zombie. And also we are gonna use today Quixel Megascan. So Megascan, for the people that don't know, is a library of scanned objects and surfaces and materials. So we're gonna get some of these scanned surfaces, and we're gonna use it to create our zombie head. Now Megascans at the moment, it's just about nature surfaces, so you have rocks and grass and pebbles and whatnot, and trees and these kind of things. But I'm going to show you that you don't have to be limited to what these surfaces are. We can use it and repurpose them to make something cool like our zombie head. So let's get started. Alright, so I've decided to get this guy. He has an interesting facial structure. I think it would be nice for a zombie. We are gonna heavily modify it, so by the end this guy is gonna be probably unrecognizable, but I think it's a good starting point. So here it is. I have it here in ZBrush. And as you can see, it comes with a texture, which it's helpful. The scan is very high quality. I can show you if I turn the texture off. Very high quality scan, very detailed. And also it comes in handy that it's already been retopologized, so we can go back to the lowest subdivision and it's here. So this is going to be very useful. So another thing that I want to do, I want to import a human skull. So if we go back to the website, there's a section called skull, and you can get these skulls. These are scanned human skull. Alternatively, you can also use the one that comes from ZBrush. So not many people knows that there's a full skeleton. There's a full actually écorché model that comes with ZBrush. So if you click on Lightbox and if you move to Tool, in here there's this one made by the talented Ryan Kingsland, and if you double click on this, you can see there is this really nice écorché female model, and one of the subtools, the first subtools, if I go on solo, it's a full skeleton, so you can go here and just grab your the skull. So if you go to polygroup, you can scroll down here, and there is click on polygroups and then auto groups to create this. Then Control Shift click, you're gonna isolate these guys out, and then maybe do a selection here and group visible, so you have your skull that comes with ZBrush. It's not very high poly, but you can still subdivide it and play with it or do whatever you need. So it's just cool to have one available here. So let's go back to zombie guy, and import, but first we need to create append an object. Then we can import a skull, and here it is. Let's see where the skull is. There it is. It's a little big, and it's facing in the other direction, so let's fix that. I'm gonna go to move, and you can see ZBrush 4R8 has this new Gizmo tool, which is I'm gonna use extensively. It's very useful. So the skull is up here, so I'm just gonna click on this kind of like Google Map sign here, and it's gonna snap the Gizmo on the top, in the center, sorry, of the object. I'm just gonna drag this guy down, and it's huge. So if I click here in this yellow square, I can scale it. So scale it down a little bit, like so, and I'm gonna rotate it something like that. And let's place, if I can either move the guy from using the arrows here, or I can click any of these corner and move it freely. So I'm gonna align this skull in here, and just to help us see, I'm gonna activate transparency. So obviously this is a skull of a different person, so it's not gonna match perfectly, but that's fine. I don't need to be super precise with this. Maybe I'm gonna rotate it a little bit, probably not. Let's see, something like this. One thing to notice is that, so this skull here, it's okay, something like this, just to make it straight. And if I go back to this guy, you can see that his head is not perfectly straight, he's slightly tilted. So let's fix that. I'm gonna go to the lowest subdivision model, subdivision mesh, and I'm gonna create a selection like this, and I'm going to where the gizmo here, I'm going to rotate this guy a little bit just to get his head in the kind of aligned in the front. Let's see, something like that might be okay. And let's go back to the higher subdivision mesh. You notice I've used the lowest subdivision mesh, so it was easier to select and move it around. So now let's go back to transparency, and let's see where this is. Okay, yeah, it looks It looks fairly close, so that's good. Maybe I'm gonna move this guy a little bit closer here, like that. And all right, and just for fun, and actually even to make it look stand out a little bit better, I'm gonna assign, funny enough, this matcap is called skeleton, matcap skeleton. So I'm gonna go into my draw mode, select material RGB, mRGB up here. I'm gonna go to color and fill object. In this way, this skull now has this material applied. So even if I go back and change it to another material, this is not gonna change. And so because of that, now we can see where it protrudes outside the model. So let's see what we can do here. Maybe we're just gonna deform it a little bit. So I'm gonna go to our move brush, scale it up, and bring this guy inside a little bit. Okay, so again, this skull is doesn't need to be perfect. This is just gonna come handy later. Okay, the jaw a little bit here, and yeah, it seems like, well, that's the ears. I don't care too much. Let's just push it back a little bit, whatever. Let's see what we have here. Okay, something like this. All right, that's fine. Here it is, our skeleton. It's in place. Maybe you can just move this guy a little bit here, just to make the skull follow a little bit more the shape of our head. But again, I'm not super concerned about this, so like so, and like so. All right, and something like this. All right, okay, cool. Let's go back from transparency. Let's save this, and I'm gonna create a new folder. And this is gonna be our zombie 01. Perfect. All right. Now, one of the reasons why I've imported the skeleton, it's because now I want to try to adapt this face a little bit to the skeleton. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select my head, I'm gonna scroll down to morph target, and I'm gonna click store morph target. So we will use this in a bit, and I'll show you how. But this is very important. You need to do it before you start modifying this mesh. So the morph target is stored. So if I go here and do something like that, this is going to be easy to bring back this way. Now, let's go back here, and let's go down to the lowest subdivision. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to activate symmetry. Actually, the symmetry is not there, so whatever. So I'm going to start smoothing this version of the mesh, like so. Smooth it out a little bit, like that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start slowly moving my object, and what I'm gonna do here, just a little bit like that, and I'm gonna go to project, make sure that both icons are activated, and I'm gonna click on project all, but first I'm gonna adjust the distance to something like 0.0 let's see, 4, and let's click project all. Alright, so this is actually also projecting the detail. I'll fix that later. So it's projecting the material. I'll fix that later. Now let's go up one level, pressing D, and I'm gonna project it again, and I'm gonna start smoothing this out. It's a little bit confusing having these two materials, so let me just clear this guy up 1 second real quick. Brush, color, fill object. So okay, let's go back and start smoothing this guy out again, like this. And okay, like so, and smooth it out. And oops, it seems like these were not cleaned up. You know what? So since ZBrush, so if I uncheck this paint icon, you should not see the material, so that's good, because it's a bit distracting. And I'm gonna start smoothing this guy up and project all. It seems like the distance is not enough. Let's try 0.08. Okay, we start getting somewhere. And move this guy in and smooth it out like so. Okay, basically what I want to do, I want to project the skeleton over my face, and then we are going to use the morph target to bring back some of the human mesh. So it's going to do something like this, and pull this up a little bit like so. Okay, and like that. Let's move to a higher subdivision and project all. Okay, these need to be more inside, so let's do this and smooth out the ears a little bit better, like so. I'm going back and forward, pressing D and Shift D to my lowest and highest subdivisions, just to being able to better handling what I'm doing. Okay, something like this, and maybe add a little bit of volume here, like so, and project all. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Okay, something like that, and let's go up a little bit. Let's smooth this guy out. Okay, All right, like that, and project all. So this is a little bit of a back and forth with the project because the underlying geometry is so different from what we are trying to project, but the effect is going to be really cool, I think. So let's keep going like that. Okay, let's go up one more, project all. Let's add maybe a little bit more volume here for this bone. And let's clean up here. Let's clean up here. Like that. All right. And a little bit like that. We don't need to arrive to a point where the skeleton is perfectly projected. This is probably fine for what we need. Maybe okay, a little bit smoother here. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Now what we can do, we can give one level of smoothness. If I scroll down to the deformation, there's a smooth deformer. We can just smooth the whole thing a few times, like so. All right, so here's our character that it's been adapted to the underlying skeleton. And now here comes the cool part. So remember that I've clicked on the morph target before. So first of all, let me quick save this. So now what we can do with this morph slider here, we can just try to bring back slowly. You can see this. You can bring back our character, and we can decide where we want it to be stopped before it reaches. Obviously we don't want this, and we don't want a complete human, so we can just move this slider something in between and get it about 60% maybe, or 70%, so he looks a little bit dead, but not quite, so that's good. Now there are areas where I want my a little bit more of his original face, so I'm gonna select my morph brush, and I'm just gonna paint back the areas. The morph brush, basically it will take the informations that they are stored in the morph target and apply locally using this brush. So it's pretty cool, pretty neat way of bringing back the details. So let's bring back the eye areas, which I quite like with this eye bag that the guy has. It's pretty cool. And something a little bit smooth it out like this area here on the top. Let's see, let's bring back a little bit of the eyebrows like so. All right, and the nose, let's see, maybe we can bring back a little bit of the nose. I don't want it to be, let's see. Actually, it's kind of cool that it has like a sort of start of a decaying of the nose. So I might want to keep it like that. And let's see, a little bit better here, like so, just to bring some of those eye details there. And I think maybe a little bit more here, very gently tapping with the Morph brush. A little bit of the temple area, and yeah, I think the guy looks pretty cool as a base for our zombie. So let's save this. I'm gonna save this zombie 02. All right. Now, let's get into the new ZBrush functionalities. So, remember before I talked about Megascans. So let's see what we can do with those materials like rocks and wood and that kind of things, sand and stuff like that. Let's see how we can use it to create the details for our zombie. Alright, so this is Megascans Bridge, and what this is, it's a tool that allows you to browse the material that you have downloaded. So all these materials are the ones that I have downloaded on my hard drive from the Megascans library. These are all physically based scans, so they're very accurate. And I'm gonna use for the zombie, I'm gonna use these 4 materials here. So this kind of like pebble and dirt material here, either this or this one, this rock material, and this wood material. So if I double click on this material, it's gonna open up the folder, and as you can see, it contains this material. Since it's a designed to be used in a physically based rendering engine, everything is separate. So albedo, ambient occlusion, bump, cavity, displacement, normal map, and roughness. So for now, I'm just gonna use the displacement texture here, and I'm gonna import this into ZBrush, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use it for. Alright, so from the alpha panel, I'm gonna click import, and I'm gonna pass the path from where the texture is, and I'm gonna click on the displacement. Okay, click open. Now, I don't want it, actually I don't want it for this brush, but I want it on the standard brush. Alright, now one thing it's important, before start using this texture, I'm gonna have to go to alpha. Under modify, there is this mid value here. By default is on 0, and this is gonna have to be set to 50 in order for this displacement to work properly. This is something important that we need to remember every time we import a new displacement from Megascans. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to append a plane 3D. Click, and it's here. So okay, one thing I want to do, since it seems that the front axis it's this one, one cool thing that ZBrush 4R8 can do is to move a apply move, rotate, and scale to multiple multiple subtools. So if I go back to my head and I uncheck the plane because I don't want to move this plane, so I'm gonna leave the eye icons active only on the skull and the zombie head. I'm gonna go to my rotate, and from here you can see this little icon here. If we click this, it becomes from 1 becomes to 3, and that means that every the transpose tool is going to affect all the active subtools. So now if I rotate this like so, I go back here, I can see that like so. Let's try to make it straight. Okay, something like that. So, and I want the head to be on the front like so. Alright, so that's okay. So basically we can go back here, and so we have our plane, and I'm gonna show you what you can do in this version of ZBrush. I'm gonna isolate in solo mode. So let's go back to draw, and I'm gonna subdivide this a few times until it's about 1,000,000 points, so it's sculptable. And I'm gonna start creating something that can look like a wounded area. So I don't know, let's start with something like this. I'm just improvising, and something maybe like that, like so, and a little bit like that, kind of like has been badly wounded by fingernails or something, like so. And let's smooth this out a little bit, like that. Okay. Let me go to brush, auto masking, and I'm gonna click on backface mask here, so I don't have to worry about the thin walls bleeding into the next area. So do like that. Okay, something like this. And now what I want to do, let's move it like this. Alright, now I'm going to do a selection of the part that I sculpted inside, like this, and smooth it out a little bit, smooth the selection. And now with the inside selected like this, I'm gonna go up and grab my standard brush. I'm gonna go to drag rec with the alpha from the pebble. Remember, this is this texture right here, these pebbles, and I'm gonna drop the intensity to something like 40 or something, and holding Alt, I'm just gonna click and drag this in like so, and as you can see, it's adding all the details of this displacement inside the mask that inside the unmasked area. Maybe it's a little bit too strong. Let's try 30. Like that. Something like so, maybe. And I'm gonna drop the intensity a little bit and add some more detail here on the sides, like that. All right, and I'm gonna invert the mask, and I'm gonna load in maybe this material here. This material, it's a rock material, but if you look at it, it might look like some sort of burned skin or melted skin or something, decayed skin. So I'm gonna use this for the skin details. So I'm gonna double click here, and again I have all my texture, but I'm only interested in the displacement. So I'm gonna click from the path and import, and this time I'm gonna load this one. Again, mid value set to 50, and with the inside area masked, I'm gonna go and drag this here like so. Let's see, maybe something like that. I don't know, just to give me some detail area. Okay, now I'm gonna select the borders of this this plane like this. Maybe drop a couple of details and smooth it out and smooth it in. Go back to the highest resolution. Now there's a new tool in the deformation, and it's called Morph to Grid. This will only works with planes. So if I drop this to 100, this is going to be reset to the grid. So if I uncheck this, you can see this is being back to be a perfect grid. And so now what do we do with this brush here? Well, one of the new feature of the new ZBrush is this thing called VDM, which stands for vector displacement map. And this vector displacement map are basically they're going to use a full 3D information, so this whole thing that we sculpted, to be used as a brush. So I'm gonna show you how to use it. From the brush panel, you see there is this new Chisel 3D brush. So if I select this, on the top here, you see there's a bunch of noses and mouth and eyes and stuff like that. This is the sample of BDM that comes with ZBrush. So to add this, you can simply go to brush and click on from mesh. So but before doing that, since I don't really want to append my brush here, I want to create my own brush. So we're gonna go here, and we are actually select this, and we're gonna go to clone. Click clone button, and this will do a clone, which is down here. And now I'm gonna go from brush, and from create, I'm gonna click on create multi-alpha brush here. So what this will do will replace what's inside the previous brush, and as you can see, it added also these two objects. These are not good for this type of VDM, so we're just going to delete it. So I'm going to select the skull, I'm going to go to brush and delete mesh, and then I'm going to select the zombie, brush and delete mesh. So we got just this plane here. All right, So now I just click on my zombie guy here, and look what happened when I, with this my new plane selected from the panel. I'm just gonna click and drag, and look what happens. This is gonna be projected. It's gonna be used to project the detail that I just sculpted on my mesh. I can project it everywhere. As you can see, I can keep doing this. Obviously this is not what I want to do at the moment, but just to demonstrate how it works. And since we have the skeleton that's still in there, we can actually go and reveal part of the skeleton like that, and we're gonna do that exactly to make it look like a zombie. So but before I do that, I'm gonna load in a series of brushes that I've created previously. There's already a bunch of pre-made details. So I'm gonna go to load tool, and I'm gonna load in this zombie VDM tool that I've created. So I'm gonna show you what that's how that looks. As you can see, I have all these planes here, and if I go to solo mode, I've created all these tools, these planes, just by using that Megascans surfaces that you see before. I have a bunch of stuff that I made, and I can actually append this new one that I made here. So let's go back here and append. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now I can create a new tool with all my brushes that I've created. So to do that, I'm gonna go to brush, and I'm gonna click on create multi-alpha brush. Again, what ZBrush will do, will take all these subtools and generate, as you can see, if I scroll here, it took all the subtools and generated this VDM panel with all this here, so I can test them. You can see I can just click on them and drag, and these are all working nicely. You can see there's a bunch of damages that and other details that I've made. So like so, like this, and this one, and this is this one that I've just created. So they all work pretty nicely. So let's use these brushes to start decorating, so to speak, our zombie. Let me undo this. Okay, and before doing that, I'm gonna save this from the brush panel. I'm gonna click on save as, and I'm gonna call this zombie, and it's gonna be our zombie brush. So now ZBrush is going and save it. So it's called so the brush is called zombie, and it has 15 brushes inside. All right, let's go back to our guy here, and let's start adding some damage to this guy using the brushes that I created. So first let me clean off this material. So to clean up a material, you select the flat color from the panel here, flat color, and then you go to mRGB, and from color you click fill object. This will remove any material that is applied. So now I can go and select any material I want. Okay, and this one is fine, so we can see what we're doing. Alright, let's start by adding a bunch of damages. So I'm gonna start with the mouth, and I don't know, for the mouth I kind of want this guy to show a little bit of the teeth, so we can just go in here and do this, something like that maybe. And let's see, let's start adding more damage here. So let's expose those teeth, kind of like that. And let's see, let's go and select, I don't know, this one, and add some major damage here maybe. Or I'm gonna have to do some experiment here to see which one works the best. Okay, maybe something like that. That would be cool. And I can go add some damage more like here. I kind of want this zombie to be maybe like half of his face has been ripped out by someone else. So maybe something like that here. Or maybe I can put it here. You can see how easy it's to experiment with this technique. You can just put your damages where the places where you want to test them, and see if it works out or it doesn't. So maybe it's gonna have some holes here like that. Let's go in and add some more scratch. Maybe like this. I'm gonna pause the video since it's a kind of a trial and error process. I'm gonna pause the video and I'll come back when I applied these damages the way that I want, and then we can continue from there. Alright, I'm back, and as you can see, I've applied quite some damage to this guy. I can tell that he had better days. So now all of these damages were used just by drag a bunch of these alpha that I created. Now I wanted to point your attention to a couple of alpha that I haven't used yet. So one is this one that looks kind of like this, and the other one is this one here. So I just wanted to show you how I created those two brushes. So if I go back to my Megascans bridge, I have this wood 3D object, and basically what I did, if I open the displacement of the trunk in Photoshop, this is what comes out. So what I did, I basically did a crop selection from area, I think it was this one, so to get some displacement like that. And then from either this one, I think it was. I've opened it up in Photoshop again, and I just stretch it down to get something like this. And basically the combination of these two surfaces, I use the combination of these two surfaces on a plane, like I did the sample here, to create what a little bit of this kind of like rotten skin kind of detail. I believe this one also have a little bit of pebbles in it, so I might have used either this material or now I can't remember, but the point is you can combine different displacement to create all the variations that you need. And another thing that I want to point out, and also I'm going to take the chance to showcase another major feature of ZBrush, is that let's say that I'm grab some alpha like this. Okay, let's say I want to eat up a little bit of the ear as well. I want to be like the eat has been chewed or something. If I use this, as you can see, it's not great. Obviously I could go and create a mask here and apply it just there, and it might work, it might not work, but there's a much cooler way that we can do, and we can create bigger damages. So I'm going to show you. So I'm going to append a cylinder for now. It can be anything. I'm just going to use a cylinder. So I'm going to isolate this. Okay, and I'm going to subdivide this guy a little bit like so, and I'm going to scale it down. I'm going to do something like this and scale it up like so, and I'm going to convert this object into Dynamesh. So let's go to Dynamesh. Alright, something like this, maybe a little bit more. Let's increase the resolution to 56. Alright, something like that. So now I'm going to sculpt. I'm going to use, go back to standard brush, drag rectangle, and I'm going to use again one of the displacement from Megascans, maybe the pebble one, that, if you remember, this one. So the displacement, with the displacement selected, and let's set the intensity something about 50. I'm going to start dragging stuff like this. So actually I don't want everything to be affected, so I'm going to go into my brush options here, and under auto masking I'm going to click on backface mask. So when I click and drag, only the front faces are selected, the one parallel to my camera. So I'm gonna click and drag, maybe reduce the intensity a little bit, something like 30, and click and drag like so, and click and drag like this maybe, and do something like that, and do something like that here, and maybe add something here. Actually, before I do this, I'm gonna refresh the Dynamesh like so, and something like this. Okay, and alright, and I don't know, maybe I can try adding some detail from this alpha as well, just a little bit, just to get a little bit more Let's see, this is way too much. Well, let's for this example, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it like this. So now I have this kind of bubbly cylinder that I've modified it. And another cool thing that I can do, I can go and add some paint to this. I have I've downloaded a bunch of meat texture from the internet. They're kind of gross, kind of like, for example, this kind of things, just regular meat and some rotten meat and whatnot. So you can I just found it on Google. One thing you can do here, let me copy this path and import, and let's see, just import this guy. So let me remove this and load in my texture. Alright, now I'm gonna uncheck Z head and work only on RGB. And let's see, let's get rid of the back face mask for now, and let's set something that makes me understand a little bit better what I'm doing. I can just apply a few strokes of this gross meat texture here. The point is to get it nice and gross, like so, very quickly. All right, just to get a base. Let's see, to get a base of grossness that I can modify. Now I'm gonna go and in my masking, I'm gonna click on mask by cavity. Let's see what we got. Okay, maybe increase the blur a little bit, something like that, and invert selection, and I'm gonna apply this. I'm gonna get this area, the outside area, a little bit darker, so I'm gonna load in another texture, maybe this one. It's very dark color, something like so. This is obviously done very quickly just to demonstrate what you can do. I'm gonna do something like that. Okay, if I uncheck the mask, this is what I've got, and maybe let's try mask this area again. Let's see, let's blur the mask a little bit, and you can uncheck the visualization of the mask if it's something that gets in the way, but let's try this for now. We can still maybe just if I import maybe this guy, and I don't know, let's see, mask type cavity, view mask, maybe let's add some nasty reddish spot, I don't know, something like that maybe. Okay, something like so. And actually, I'm gonna do another thing. I'm gonna fill this. Forgot to power the mask. So mask by cavity. I'm gonna uncheck the mask, and I'm gonna fill this. Actually, blur the mask, fill it like this. With this brighter color. Like so. And now what I'm gonna do again, I'm gonna mask a cavity once again, and I'm gonna blur the mask even more. Very blurred, like so. And you can also blur the mask from here, so blur, 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 blur. And now I'm gonna get the dark one. Yeah, that's better. Alright, something like that maybe. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of quick paint like this. Okay. Alright. Now I got this object here, which is kind of odd, and I'm gonna show you what you can use it for. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna move it about here, scale it down a little bit, and maybe rotate it like so. So let's see how we can use our object. Actually, one more thing, that's fine. Okay, let's see how we can use this object that I've just created. So up here there is this new live Boolean option, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna activate this, and at the moment nothing happens, but in here you see these three icons. So this is the Boolean mode. So if I'm gonna change to subtract, now this object become invisible. So if you click here, you can see a preview where the object is. Now look what happened. If I drag this to my ear, it's eating up the mesh. So we can actually use this in a kind of a gross way. I can still move it around, scale it up, scale it down, and this is non-destructive. This is just basically a preview of what the Boolean will look like once will be applied. So if I uncheck live Boolean, you can see the object is still there, or you can click here and see a preview where the object is, and you can see also the color has been transferred. We can go and eat up a big chunk of his ear, or we can actually even move this around and start eating up a big chunk of his face, of his head. Let me see where the object is. Okay, it's right there. So if I move it about here and rotate it here, we can see, we can move it there, and it becomes this gross subtraction that it looks really cool. And actually it's not just the color, but you can go in here. Let me 1 second uncheck the Boolean. If we go to the material and say let's apply some toy plastic. Okay, so this is gonna be shiny and gross. We can go here and with the mRGB selected, go on color. Actually no, I just want the material, otherwise it will clear up the painting that we did. With the material channel selected, I'm gonna go to color and fill object. So now if we go back to madcap gray, this gross part is gonna still shiny with the toy plastic material applied. and if we go back to live Boolean and move it back inside our character, you can see that the material also has been displayed correctly. You can see that it's shiny and gross, like so. So this is a really awesome way to add additional damage to our zombie. What we can also do, we can duplicate this object and set it also on subtractive mode, and we can continue. We can go back here and place this object maybe here on this area to eat up, to get this ear a little bit more nasty. So it can be something like that. And these materials is still this object is still a regular object, so you can go and with the move brush you can if you uncheck here, you can still modify your object at any time. It's completely non-destructive, and adjust it as you want. And then when you go back, you can see that it's doing what it's supposed to. Is eating up, it's eating away the mesh. We can still sculpt and modify this object even when the live Boolean is active, and you can do the same obviously on the zombie. So if you go here and select the zombie, we can go back and add some more of these VDM that we created to to get this area nice and gross. So we can go here and keep adding detail like this, and the Boolean is still active, it's still working perfectly. I can go here and keep moving around. As you can see, this is a really awesome way that you can add additional detail to the face. Again, we can go back here, keep adding, let's go back to draw mode, and keep adding details like here to the damage, like so. And you can continue and adding gross damages this way, and I think it's pretty cool. One thing I forgot to mention is, let's say that while you're doing this, you bring your subtracted object in here, but as you can see, it's eating up everything that it found. So it's going inside, and it's also affecting the skeleton, and you might not want that. So there might be some object that you don't want to be affected by your Boolean. So to solve this, what you can do, if you grab your skeleton, grab the skull mesh, you move it in on the top of the object that you want to affect, and then you see this icon here with this arrow that points down. If you click this icon, it says start, and as you can see, basically what this means, live Boolean will start the subtraction or addition, start the Boolean process from this arrow below. So everything that is below this start button is gonna be affected. So just something to keep in mind when you do the Boolean. So now, as you can see, if I go back to my meat cylinder here, if I move it around, it's only going to affect the head, and it's not going to affect the skeleton. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. So another thing that I forgot to mention is that this Boolean mode, live Boolean mode, it's just a display mode. So what it means is that it's not actually doing any sort of cut on your mesh. So if you just export, let's say that you want to export this mesh, your mesh will be like this. So at the moment this is not being cut yet. So if you want to apply this actual changes to your model, you need to create you need to tell ZBrush to create a the final mesh for you. But there are a couple of things that you need to bear in mind, so I'm gonna demonstrate how this works. So to create the final mesh, we're gonna go, I'm gonna scroll down here, and I'm gonna uncheck the skull because I don't want to include it, and I'm gonna click on Make Boolean Mesh. There's this new Boolean panel here. I'm gonna click on Make Boolean Mesh, and I'm gonna show you what's going to happen. So now ZBrush is performing the Boolean operation. Keep in mind that this is a 3.1415 million point mesh, and this Boolean is very complicated, and ZBrush is doing it very quickly compared to any other software, so this is pretty amazing. So alright, that is done. Now this has not changed. If I go and isolate my mesh, you can see that this is still my working mesh, but in here we have now a new subtool, and if we go append, and here it is, this one is the new mesh that ZBrush has created. So if I go on solo mode, all of these are unchecked. You can see we can actually go out of solo mode. None of this is visible. However, there are a couple of things that you need to bear in mind. So first of all, if you look here, what happened, you see this area. This happened because when ZBrush generates the Boolean mesh, the Boolean mesh needs to be waterproof, needs to be closed. ZBrush cannot create Boolean mesh that are open. So if I go back to my working mesh, as you can see that there are no polygons here, it's an open mesh. So the mesh that ZBrush has created needs to be closed, so keep that in mind. And another thing that you need to keep in mind is that all the materials, all the subdivision that you had, those are gone. So you cannot have a subdivision with a finalized mesh. So you need to keep this in consideration. And in this case, I still want to have my open mesh, and I still want to have my subdivision. So one thing I can do, I can just basically I can go and I'm gonna keep hidden all my cylinder, meat cylinder that I use. I can get out of this live boolean now, I don't need it. And I'm gonna open my zombie. I'm gonna click on the eye on the zombie that it's being generated. So this is the actual mesh that ZBrush has generated. So these cuts now are actually on the mesh. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back to my model, and I'm gonna project the parts that I want, that they were generated with my zombie here. So I'm gonna create a mask there, invert the mask, and I'm gonna go to project, and let's see how deep do I have to go. Well, let's try click on project all. Alright, one thing I need to do here, I need to smooth out this area because I'm getting some overlaps, and let me go down a couple of levels of subdivision. I don't want to project the material for this one. I will do that later. Okay, let's go back to top subdivision level and project all. And let's see what we got. Okay, that's better. So as you can see, now I've projected the damage part of this model into my working model, so I can still have my subdivision. They're still here. What's going on here? Let me check. Okay, there must have been something with this area. Let me just reproject this part really quickly. Okay, let's select this area here. And let's go to 0.4 maybe. Project all. Alright, better. Much better now. So I can smooth out a little bit here the border. And okay, so this was just to demonstrate what you can do, the way that you can project the Boolean detail over your working mesh. And so now I'm going to do the same on the ear, and I'm going to add some more detail around here, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, so here it is. I've done some polishing on the damaged area here that we did with the Boolean operation, and I think it's looking pretty good. But well, for now let's save this. Save, and let's save it as zombie 03. Okay, so now one more thing that I want to do. Well, first of all, let me insert the eyes. So these are the eyes from the scan, but I don't want to have these. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to my standard clay brush, and let's see, I'm gonna do a quick selection here, like so, and so if you like that, and like that. And what I want to do, basically, I just okay, so like there, should be fine. So let's make a hole here. I'm gonna go down a couple of levels. I want to add the eyes, but the eyes are gonna be just a sphere. So I don't want these existing eyes to be in the way, so I'm just gonna brush them in like that, and do the same with this guy here. Create a quick mask, invert the mask, and do a little bit of refinement like here and here. Alright, and again brush them in. Alright, just to not having them in the way. And I'm gonna go down and append a sphere, just a regular sphere, There it is. I'm gonna select the sphere and I'm gonna scale it down and move it here, bring it here. That's comically big, so let's scale it down to about, let's see, human size eyeball, something like that perhaps. And oops, I don't want to see these guys. And let's bring it outside, like so, something like that. Okay. And if I hold Control Shift and move, I'm gonna make a duplicate of this, and it's gonna be in the same subtools. So ZBrush is automatically masking the other subtools. Keep in mind that this Control Shift drag copy, it's only possible if you don't have any subdivision. If you do have subdivision, you cannot do this Control Shift drag to make a copy. So keep that in mind. And let's move this guy. Let's rotate. Actually, just move this guy about here, like so. Maybe like there. And maybe slightly here. Okay, that will do. And check. So I've added the eyes, so I can later paint them without worrying about the existing eyes. So let me quick save this. Okay, so one last thing that I want to do. Let's go back to my zombie here and go to the highest subdivision. So one more thing that I want to do. This side, so his we deformed his face to match a little bit with the skeleton, but the skin looks a little bit too healthy human for my taste. So what I might want to add, I want to go and add some nasty details, the one that we created before, that I show you, using this displacement and this displacement mixed together to create these. If I go back to zombie, to create like these detail like here, or this brush like here. So I'm gonna I want to try and add these details, but since I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it or not, I'm gonna add them on a layer. So I'm gonna go to layers and click new layer. Okay, so from now on, everything that I'm gonna do is gonna be happening just on this layer. So for example, I might want to go and add some, let's see, some detail. I might want to make, let's do one thing. Let's make one more brush. So I'm gonna go to my to my object where I have all my brushes here that I made before with the damages, and let's append another plane. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I did this kind of texture here. So let's make one more, and so let's first subdivide this a bunch of times. And now let's go to clay build up, and I want to create some curved lines, maybe something like this that I can use. Not sure if this is gonna be exactly what I want, but actually let's do something else. Instead of doing like this, I'm gonna go and let's see, I'm gonna import those alpha that they are in Megascan. I'm gonna import these two guys, and in the standard brush, I'm gonna go and set this mid value to 50. Alright, so this is a bit too strong. I'm gonna go to 10% or so, maybe 15%. This alpha here is this guy here that comes from this Megascans material here. So let's see what we can do. Maybe I'm just gonna go, and if I drop this here, I can modify this, make it a little bit round, like so, perhaps. And if I go back here, maybe something a little bit more towards here. Okay, I just want to create some skin detail, but I don't want them straight. I want them to be a little bit more round, so I can use them like around the eyes and things like that. So let's see, something like that maybe. And then I'm gonna add, I'm gonna go to my wood. This comes from here, and this was a, let's see where it is, the wood tree. This is from this Megascan material, or is it wood tree here, and that was the displacement, and I cut out this part here, and now I've imported it here in ZBrush. So let's see, maybe I can add some nasty detail in here, something like that, perhaps, maybe something like this. I'm just gonna blend them together like this, and okay, and maybe, let's see, maybe what I can do, I can import this this one. Let's see, let's try, double click on it. I'm gonna copy this path and alpha, import, paste, and I get the displacement. Then again, mid value 50%, and let's see what we get from this guy. Okay, maybe I'm gonna go here and click on morph target, store morph target, and I'm gonna drag this in here, and then with the morph brush, which is right here, just gonna remove a bunch of these things so I can get only few of these bumps, something like that perhaps. got some few nasty bumps going on there, like so. That looks pretty good. And I can increase so one cool thing about the morph target, so obviously if I drag this bar here, it's going back to the state where I saved the morph target. But if I drag it on the other side, you can see that I can increase the details. So it's going negative, so basically it's gonna add more detail, which is pretty cool. I can just get rid of maybe like these and get only these few details here going on. That looks pretty cool. Now for the border, again, I'm gonna do a selection of the border like this. This needs to be a perfect square, so let me just smooth the mask like so. Go back to the highest subdivision, go to deformation and morph to grid. So this is gonna become back to his perfect grid state. And now I'm gonna go to my zombie brush and I'm going to append this. So brush and click from mesh, and this should append this guy right here. There it is. So we can actually test it. So now if I go back to my guy here it is, I can go and with this new plane selected, I can just go and drag here this details here to get it look a little bit more nasty, maybe something like that. And I can probably add some more there, and then with this one I can go and add these here just to make it look a little bit more zombie like. So maybe something like that. Going back here and use this curved one like so, and bring this back there. And I can go here and add some nasty other nasty details like so. Alright, just to get it look a little bit more nasty and zombie like. So again, I'm gonna paint a little bit around this guy, and I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, I'm back, and this is what I've got. So I've used extensively the those new brushes that the new brush that I made, and some of the others that I previously made. I think now it looks pretty gross, and I can go here into layers and I can dial down. If I set back to 0, as you can see, is coming back to where it was originally, and I can set it to like 50% or 60% if I think that this is too much, or I can play a little bit with the values, but I think overall it looks pretty cool. And so for this video I think I'm gonna stop in here. It's already pretty long. So in the next video I'm gonna take this guy and I'm gonna paint it. So I'm gonna apply some poly paint and put some color, some nasty blood and detail color all over his face. I was gonna paint his eyes and etc, etc. And so for now, this is it. I hope that you have enjoyed this video and you learn something new. And if you like what I'm doing, hit the subscribe button, and more videos to come. So please stay tuned for the next one. So thank you for watching.